up all night. All right, President Obama authorizing the use of air power to defend new U.S.-backed rebels in Syria in case of attack. And according to the White House, this is not a precursor to boots on the ground in Syria. For more on this, let's bring in former U.S. Undersecretary of Defense Jed Babbin, who joins us now on the phone. Secretary Babbin, I thought our focus in the Middle East was on ISIS. I think you could make the case that this is still a focus on ISIS. What say you?
I think this is not really a focus on anything, guys. I mean, if we look at what's going on here, number one, there's only 60 guys in this really great force we're supposed to be sending against ISIS. It's a joke. You know, we had 90 to start with, 30 of them deserted, and they've been taking training for, 6 months now? If they had a serious force, it might be worth defending. 60 guys, okay, we don't want them to die, but, there's this concept called combat overhead. In question of how many aircraft, how many things you actually put in the sky to protect people or to conduct an operation. How much combat overhead are these guys really worth? They're not doing anything anyway.
Okay, but Secretary, to be clear, a spokeswoman for the Pentagon has been saying, by the way, refusing comments specifically on the rules of engagement here, but has said that the U.S.'s military program, the military's program focuses, quote, first and foremost on combating Islamic State militants.
Well, I guess that's true, but I guess that's also why we're now seeing, we won't have a aircraft carrier in the Persian Gulf this fall for the first time since 2007. So how are you going to do it, guys? I mean, we can fly some missions out of Incirlik in Turkey, and it's a great Air Force base. But the fact of the matter is we're reducing our combat power there by, 50%, 70% by removing the aircraft carrier. I mean, it's just a joke. If we were taking on ISIS, we would take on ISIS. We're not doing it.
Okay, but this at least it deepens the U.S. involvement in the Syrian conflict, does it not?
I mean, if we're going to protect these guys who are not in Syria from Syrian forces who are in Syria, it doesn't seem that we're going to be doing a whole heck of a lot. I mean, we could be getting more engaged in Syria, but, the fact of the matter is Russia and Iran are so heavily invested there. They're going to decide what the outcome is going to be, not a little tiny bit of American air power. And
as messy as things are in Syria, we know that ISIS is only one of the real threats there.
Right. Jed, what are the odds on the U.S.-backed forces engaging the Assad regime? What is the risk there? And I mean, I'm talking about direct conflict.
I doubt there's going to be much risk. I think that, you can always find somebody who wants to go say, hey, I can go shoot those guys for an hour. And, there's going to be some time that it's going to happen. But it's not going to be a big deal. It's not going to be something that's going to affect the outcome of the war. So, again, I'm just saying, what are we talking about here? We're not really doing anything.
Okay, is this one step closer to the United States eventually putting boots on the ground? Are they going to be put in that situation?
I don't think so. Not while this president's in office. He's made that very, very clear. The next administration will have that choice. Do they want to fight ISIS seriously? Do we want to have the Arabs engage on ISIS, which is really, it's their fight, it's not ours. So what are we going to do? Right now, nobody knows.
All right. Well, Russia is part of this equation, too, by the way. Russia is criticizing the U.S. for its plan in Syria. Right, Secretary?
Well, I mean, Russia's going to criticize us no matter what we do, guys. That's their game. That's what they've done since Peter the Great. They want to make trouble. They want to make people, interfere in things. So, yeah, they're going to do that. We're going to respond, maybe, diplomatically. The whole thing is a big kerfuffle. I just really can't get very excited about it. Sorry.
He's not excited about it, which means the markets aren't going to get excited from a standpoint of increasing national security and going stronger over there.
Absolutely. I think probably the worst thing we could do is engage or have a plan, but do it kind of in a very small way like we're doing right here. We need to have clear cut. You put soldiers on the ground over there. They can't have to decipher who they should engage, who they shouldn't engage. If we're going to go over there and we're going to go after ISIS, which is obviously a major concern, we need to go over there and go after ISIS.
Secretary, broadly speaking, before we let you go, how would you characterize the United States fight, this war against ISIS? Where do we stand on it? Is it getting better? Are we strengthening our forces against ISIS, or are they only gaining territory and power as we speak?
Well, it's half-hearted at best, and maybe not even that much. I think we're reducing our forces by having no aircraft carrier in the Persian Gulf this fall. I think we're not really serious about this. President Obama has indicated he wants to delay this for years and years and years. kick it down the road, let somebody else deal with it, and that's all we're doing.
Well,
I don't really think we're taking a very serious effort.
Secretary, with these debates happening on Thursday night with the GOP contenders for president, what would you like to hear from someone who's running for the president of the United States right now as far as strategy against ISIS?
Well, I'd like to hear from somebody, anybody, a plan to say that if we're going to fight a war, we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to actually fight it in a manner calculated to win it rather than piddle around on the ground or someplace else. I think we need a strategy, but I think we need a national strategy to cover a whole lot of different threats. None of this is right now in the White House or in the Pentagon or anywhere else.
Do you like
we
anything that you've heard?
We need to have someone who's going to do a real serious plan.
Sorry to interrupt you, Secretary. Do you like anything that you've heard from any one candidate?
Not yet. I mean, there's an awful lot of folks up there that shouldn't be there, and I think they're going to get weeded out fairly quickly. At least I hope so.
All right. See, he's leading up to even more must-see TV. All right. Secretary Jed Babbin, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate you being here. All right.